You know those feelings that you're sitting with this morning after Game 7 of the World Series, the disappointment, the sadness, the gratitude? John Schneider says he knows, and it's going to take a few days.
It's like the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, but just got these guys to lean on. That's kind of been our thing all year. You know, when things don't go our way, we lean on each other.
I feel for the guys. You know what I mean? This is a special group of guys. That being said, I am so proud of them, of the entire organization, really. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. We've set a new expectation and a new standard here.
Well, from being 2 outs away from winning the World Series to free agency beginning Thursday, the Jays have a lot to think about in the coming days. For more on where the team goes from here, we're joined by Rich Griffin. He's a baseball analyst and co-host of the Exit Philosophy podcast. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning.
Despite Rich falling short on Saturday, the Jays are coming off their best season since 1993. Is that part of what hurts in this loss?
Yeah, it hurts, but it's also encouraging for the Blue Jays and for baseball in Canada. I remember in '93 coming off the 2 back-to-back World Series, how the game took off among youngsters across the country. And you can see the same result happening because of this run to the World Series that the Blue Jays had. I mean, this was such a likable team. I was in their clubhouse every home game, and you could just see that the tightness, the bond, but you didn't know it was going to go this far to Game 7 of a World Series that they really could have and should have won. But like I said, the repercussions across the country are going to be felt for years to come. But as you point out, they're going to have to rebuild a roster. We're not sure about the future of Bo Bichette, who was an integral part, along with Vlad Guerrero Jr. of this team since 2019. So we'll see where it goes from here. But one thing is certain is that they're going to be more of a real choice for top free agents across Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you just touched on it there, Rich. Part of the love for this team from coast to coast to coast was their love for each other. Every analyst, every fan we spoke to, the players' families, the Jays themselves, all spoke about how special that once-in-a-career lifetime that was. How important was the camaraderie this season, and how do they build on that for next year?
Well, you could see it in the face of Ernie Clement in the clip that you played, how close it was. And a lot of these players who now have an option of going somewhere else know what it's like in that clubhouse, know the talent that's available there. And I think that it began with the Montreal Expos, the first team outside of the USA to play in Major League Baseball, and it continued with the Blue Jays, where they feel like they have to go that extra mile or that extra kilometer to please the families, to show them that it's a viable place to play. And that carried over into the clubhouse, where the talent finally gelled and they got that feeling of camaraderie and oneness to the World Series, and it should continue on into the future.
I think also what was so nice to see is that didn't just spark when they started doing well. They had that camaraderie right from the beginning, and in fact, that's the through line all the way up until what we saw in Game 7. Several players, you mentioned this, that were a key to the Jays' success this season do become free agents this week on Thursday. That includes Chris Bassett, Bo Bichette, Max Scherzer. Meanwhile, Shane Bieber will also likely become a free agent. So, you know, you look at this group of men, this band of brothers, and you think, how different could next season's lineup look from this year's?
Well, it could, but there was also a huge difference. If people look back at the 92 and 93 Blue Jays, there were a lot of changes made to 1993's championship.
Good point.
For instance, Paul Molitor was brought in. A lot of guys were dropped from the 92 team, and they managed to continue because of, as you point out, the thread that had been established before. I expect that a guy like Chris Bassett will go out and explore the market, and if nothing strikes his fancy, he'd be willing to come back for a similar amount of money. They do have close to $100 million being freed up by free agents, and some of it might go to re-signing. I think that with Bo Bichette, that's the most important, because his absence in the lineup showed up, and his leadership at the plate when he hit the 3-run home run to give the Jays the lead in Game 7. But I think he would have to consent to move to second base, because Run prevention and defense are one of the priorities of this front office, and Bo Bichette would be more valuable and moving forward at second base with Andres Jimenez at shortstop. But, you know, they're going to allow Bo Bichette to explore the market. He and Vlad are identified together as the face of this franchise. And it'll be an interesting offseason starting this week and with free agency being declared.
The Jays are going to open next season against the Athletics at home in March. Man, 4 months away. What would it realistically take for the Jays to get back into this position?
Well, I think they need to make sure that their starting rotation and their bullpen are reinforced. We saw the weakness down the stretch in the bullpen, and Jeff Hoffman had done such a good job through the playoffs, but there was this lingering feeling that he was going to have struggled in one game, and that game just happened to be Game 7 with a chance to close it down and to win the World Series. So I think pitching is a priority. You look around the infield and the position players, and you have a returning roster that could be comparable or even better than this year's team. But the pitching staff, especially the rotation and the leadership of those veterans that you pointed out that are going to be free agents, that was undervalued in terms of the fans looking at this team. And they're going to have to replace that or return that to this clubhouse.
Really quickly, Rich, what are you sitting with this morning?
In terms of
your feelings, your emotions, where's your head at?
I just feel, like I said earlier, that this is a boon for baseball, the sport across Canada, and we've seen that. We've seen that in the response to this team, and I think it's going to show up in registration of young 12 to 15-year-olds in baseball. It happened in '93. It's going to happen again now. And I think just like Vince Carter and basketball hoops at the end of every driveway, when he was in his prime, I think this is going to be a boon for baseball in Canada.
Rich Griffin, baseball analyst and co-host of the Exit Philosophy podcast. Thanks for coming on this morning. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.